Hey, it's Justin from the Justin Scott and Spiegel Morning Show on 98 Rock in Baltimore, and you're listening to Hoppe Radio.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Vote for Hoppe Hour as best local podcast by the Creative Loafing Tampa. Spread the word.
Are you feeling classy today? Sit down, pour a glass of wine, and listen to Hoppe Hour.
You're tuned in to Hoppe Hour, an hour where Hoppe rants about something. Sit back and listen in. Hoppe Hour is on now. Hoppe Hour is on now.
What up? What is happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And for the next hour, I will attempt to change the way you think. For the next hour, I will attempt to entertain you because this is Hoppe Hour. But as a reminder, vote Hoppe Hour is the best podcast in the Tampa Bay area by the Creative Loafing for the best of the Bay. Wow, that's a mouthful. At tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour. That's tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour. But first, let's let this beat drop. Oh, yeah. You can tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Let's get this party going. It is a holiday. It's a great day to be an American, if I may quote Craig Ferguson. Oh, yeah.
It's the most wonderful time.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those days that you cuddle up with your girl. If you're in a cold city, even though it's the summertime, that doesn't make sense. You pop open a glass of wine, watch some Downton Abbey. It's that type of year that you get together with your family and you appreciate life, and they make you a nice turkey dinner. Oh, yeah. Because you know what day it is? National Radio Day. Woo! Maybe you brought chocolate chip cookies to work. Hey, here at The Bone, when I was answering phones for Roger and JP, there were sandwiches and salad and chips. And it was one of those days I was starving. And when I saw that food, you can ask anybody that works here. I ran to it, and I was on that food. Woo! Man, does that sound sexual? And I didn't mean to have it sound like that. It's that type of year. It's that type of day and that holiday when you see the Nielsen ratings. You're like, yes, I'm number one. And you get your own billboard, and you're working after your show to make some drops. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Oh, yeah. This is my favorite song for Christmas, though, to be honest. This and Last Christmas, or by Wham, I mean. I love that song, dude. Wasn't sure how to approach this topic, so that's why I waited a few days for all the info, you know. That's why I waited a few days so that most of the info could come out, this and that. Talking about everyone's favorite lovable TV pitchman known as Jared Fogle. Woo! I never liked the guy. I'm not going to sit here and say that I thought he was a pedophile, but I'm not surprised. Like, if it was like Regis Philbin or Michael Strahan or some TV person, then I'd be surprised. It's not even the look of Jared Fogle. It's his vibe. He's just so goofy and weird, and his head doesn't really fit his body. He's just such a weird dude, and I'm not surprised whatsoever. And it's one of those things where I feel like we're giving them celebrity treatment, but when there's someone like Jerry Sandusky or that family in Sacramento that kept that girl captive, or the guy from Cleveland that ended up killing himself that kept Amanda Berry locked up, those people were unknown. So when we find out about them, we despise them immediately. But when it's Jared Fogle, someone we've known for 10 years, and it's a weird bias because we know him, so we can't believe that he would have 60,000 files of child porn, 30,000 videos, 30,000 pictures. And that's so much to have on your computer, illegal porn or not, because obviously everybody watches adult videos. Everybody goes on Pornhub and watches Lisa Ann, this and that. I've never downloaded porn onto my hard drive. Now, I get that I'm a millennial. I'm not a 90s kid or an 80s kid that had to buy porn, and then 90s kids downloaded it from the internet. I'm a millennial, so I was blessed, if you may use that word, to be able to go on XNXX, X videos, Hamster, Pornhub, and be able to watch literally all you can watch. It's a buffet of porn. So my point is, I've never had to download pictures or a video. So it takes a sick dirtbag. It takes a cretin and a weirdo, which is everything Jared Fogle is and more. Words I can't even say or I don't remember to say. To have 60,000 files of child porn on his computer and 14 victims, and he's paying for sex with kids. That dead air was for a reason. But because he's everyone's favorite TV pitchman, he's the guy that lost weight and inspired people. If you have a meatball marinara sandwich every day, you'll lose weight like him. Even though if you look at the pictures, he ended up gaining it back. And one point I want to make, all these people who are making these jokes online about this and that, he's going to get the foot long in jail, he's going to get this. Do you think you're original? Do you think anybody saw your picture and was like, oh my God, he's so funny and original? The same thing with those 50 Cent jokes. When he filed for bankruptcy, I guess his net worth is 50 cents. Get what I did there? Or I guess he's going to have to borrow money now. Shut up. I don't get why people keep posting, and I'm seeing the same memes where Chris Hansen's talking to Jared Fogle in a kitchen like on To Catch a Predator, and the Photoshop job is awful. Like, do you think anybody looked at it and laughed? And shame on the New York Post for putting that as its headline. Not because it offended me, not because I care, but because it's the most unoriginal joke ever. There's not one person out there that laughed. There is not one person out there that was like, oh my God, the New York Post, you're original. Can I have your writer who came up with that headline? I want him to be the next comedic writer for the new show with Stephen Colbert, for the new Trevor Noah show on Comedy Central. That is the future of comedy. That is so original. A foot-long joke about him going to prison. Enough. My God. Let's get to the news clip. This is from 4 hours ago, the latest news about everyone's favorite Jared Fogle from Subway. Here we go.
Now we're learning more about the charges against former Subway pitchman Jared Fogle. Federal prosecutors say Fogle is pleading guilty to charges related to child pornography and soliciting sex with minors. As part of the deal, he will pay restitution to the 14 minors.
Did you hear that? I know everybody knows it now, and I brought it up, but he was soliciting sex with minors. It's one thing to solicit sex with a prostitute. Most people look down on you. Oh, geez. But, I mean, it's normal. They can do what they want, but he was trying to pay for sex with kids. He's attracted to kids. And we're just giving him 5 years in jail? Lock him up forever. I know he'll never get the death penalty if he were to go to jail for a while. But what's the difference between Jared Fogle and Jerry Sandusky? I know he did it for 30 years, and Jerry had the kids living with him. But it's potato. You can't compare pedophile crimes. Why did Jerry get like 200 years in jail and Jared Fogle only gets a minimum of 5 and up to 12? Oh, yeah, because he's a quote-unquote celebrity.
Involved 14 and is looking at serious prison time.
I'm not saying it's fun to go to jail for a decade or a half a decade, but to say it's serious prison time? How old is Jared Fogle? Let me look this up. He is 37 years old. He would get out by his midlife crisis of age 50 or 42 years old. To me, serious time would be if he got out at the age of 67. And stop it. Stop it with these comments. Oh, he's going to get it in the shower. Oh, at the courtyard, they're going to give it to him. Well, they're all lifting weights. Do you understand that he is a good lawyer? Do you understand he's going to pay to get treatment in jail? As in, he might get a cell by himself. Because every high-profile prisoner ever doesn't get along with general population. There's always fights or late-night arguments, and there's just always collision and problems. So what they end up doing is putting these guys in the cell by themselves. I'm not saying that's fun. I'm not saying being in a cell by yourself. It's like going to the Hilton Motel or the Hilton Hotel and getting a back massage by one of the hot coworkers. I'm just saying they don't make them suffer. They feed them the food and they get the rights. If you want to make him suffer for 5 years, feed him awful TV dinners every single day. Barely give him water. And you're going to say that's cruel and unusual punishment. What about the 14 victims he had? What about the 60,000 files he had of all the kids that suffered and he had that for his own pleasure? Get the hell out of here. With him having any rights. Get the hell out of here. Stop it. I'm not saying if we give these long sentences to these pedophiles that all of a sudden pedophilia is going to go away. But it wouldn't hurt if you were to give them longer sentences. It's certainly not helping when you give them shorter ones.
Open Joyce's live from Chicago with more. Mike?
Yeah, Jenna, no less than 5 years in prison for Jared Fogle, the man we came to know as the subway guy.
I never knew his last name until it happened in May. I never knew that whatsoever. You have to admit that Subway is very angry that he's known as the subway guy and nothing else. It'd be one thing if it was like Michael Strahan or any of the other athletes that they have in the Subway commercials. At least they're known for something else. But this is the pitch man, the image of your company that you picked to lose weight, this and that. And I remember when everybody was freaking out when this first happened in May or June and the FBI was looking into his mansion with a search warrant. Everybody was like, how dare Subway suspend him and fire him so quickly? You have to stand by your employers. Don't you think they did that for a reason? Don't you think when the FBI told them, they asked, can we have more information about it? Because I'm pretty sure they knew back then, but they were just being quiet now. Because there's no reason if he was innocent, they wouldn't stick by him. And I thought he was guilty immediately. I know people like Chris Anderson and Shaq have had things where it's kind of come up around them. They didn't have sex with underage kids and they didn't have the videos, but they were being accused of things. So I can get where people were coming from when they're like, give him a chance. When there's a search warrant involved, you know something is up. Nobody gets a search warrant unless there is really good evidence that you're a piece of dirt pedophile. Just saying.
After agreeing to plead guilty to possessing child pornography and paying for underage sex. Now, Fogle left the courthouse in Indianapolis today. The court said he's now required to wear an ankle monitor. One count to which Fogle has agreed to plead is for distributing and receiving child pornography involving 12 minor victims. However, the charges against Fogle go on to say that between 2007 and June of this year, Fogle...
So he was doing this in the prime of those $5 foot-long commercials. Remember those annoying ones with those annoying animations? When we all thought he was the greatest guy ever and he was going on those media tours and going on every radio show and every TV show, it's weird to think that everybody has a secret life. Some people are into kinky sex or some people are this and that, maybe alcoholics or drug addicts. And everyone's favorite TV pitchman likes kids. Ugh. All right, back to the clip.
Trolled the internet looking for sex, some of it with minors. Some details. November 3rd, 2012, the defendant engaged in sexual acts with minor victim 13 in exchange for an amount of U.S. currency. This occurred at the Plaza Hotel in New York when she was then 17. The next day, the defendant sent text messages to minor victim 13 offering to pay her a fee if she could find him an underage girl to engage in commercial sex acts with him. The defendant...
If this was anybody else and they had these text messages, we'd be up in arms. We'd want them to go to jail for life. But they're being so easy to Jared Fogle because he can afford a good lawyer, not a public defendant, the celebrity thing, so he's able to slide, not scot-free, but pretty easily. I'm not saying going to jail for up to 12 years is fun.
The defendant stated that he would accept a 16-year-old girl while stating that the younger the girl, the better.
Okay, it wasn't like he had sex with a few teenagers. That'd be disgusting, inhuman. But he kept saying the younger the better. He didn't have an age range. I just don't know why we're being so easy on him. He said the younger the better. When I lost my V card, it was to a 49-year-old woman, and I thought the more experience, the better. So he's the opposite. He's like, hey, if they're in third grade, that's the girl I like. Ugh.
Jared Fogle expects to go to prison. He will do his time. He expects to get well.
There's no getting well. I know his lawyer has to say this because they don't know what to say. There is no getting well when you're a pedophile. I don't have experience because I'm not one, but I'm attracted to women. There's no fixing what you are attracted to. I know Christians try to put their gay kids in those reprogramming classes. It never works. So do you honestly think if you put him in this counseling group and they try to get him well that it's going to work? He's going to always be attracted to that. And what's going to come out is he'll begin weeping about how he feels bad. He'll begin weeping about, I got touched by my uncle. That's never an excuse ever. Do you know who got abused as a kid? Oprah. Do you know who got abused as a kid? People we don't know of because they're successful and they're not trying to have sex with underage kids, you dirtbag. Ugh.
He expects to continue to make amends to those people whose lives he has affected.
If you were to break into a house and take things, you can amend that. If you were to get a DUI and hurt somebody, but at least over time they're fine, maybe you can amend that. But when you are soliciting sex with underage kids, and when you have 60,000 files of child porn, there's no amending that. There's no fixing it. You wanted to have sex with kids. There's no way you can just kind of make a VCR for life and just rewind a tape and pretend it never happened. You wanted to have sex with kids, dude. There's no fixing that. There's no amending that. Sorry. I know people don't want to hear this because they want to try and feel bad for Jared. Stop it. Stop it.
Both family and non-family members. And he at some point hopes to become once again a productive member of society.
Now, Fogle's wife, Katie, released a statement.
Okay. I'm not saying once they come out of jail, they're going to repeat and keep doing it. But time after time, that happens. And I'm not saying that when you go out of jail, you can't fix your life around. But come on, dude. Do you honestly think that he's going to go back to a productive life? Who's going to want to work with him? I mean, come on. He wanted to have sex with kids. Jesus Christ. Get the hell out of here.
Next on Hoppe Hour.
We have so much to get into. I will talk about this whole deal with Ashley Madison and the hackers that are breaking into it, and a certain reality TV star that finds himself in the mix of it. After this on Hoppe Hour.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.
Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky host the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour, Fridays from 12 to 2 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. We're saving the universe with our sports talk. Cubs, Sox, Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks, DePaul Blue Demons? Yes, it's all right here on Ryan and Ryan. If it's not impossible for you, listen to the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour every Friday from 12 to 2 p.m. on SportstownChicago.com.
We score every one of us. Stand for every one of us. We stay with the body and every man, every woman, every child, everybody.
Hi, this is Ryan Stuppridge, one of the hosts of the Sports Renegades, Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. on SportstownChicago.com. On the Sports Renegades, Ryan Risky and I will discuss all the hot sports topics and all your favorite Chicago sports. Chicago baseball is back and better than ever, so look no further than the Sports Renegades to get your Cubs and White Sox fix. We're also discussing the Chicago Blackhawks as they try to chase down their third Stanley Cup in 6 years. Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky bring you all the best on the Sports Renegades, Thursdays, 6 to 8 p.m. on SportstownChicago.com.
It's time to turn Hoppy on.
All right, welcome back to Hoppe Hour. It's not too hard to get in contact with me. If you're listening live and you want to give your contact, since I don't have a phone line, tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio, and I will be sure to get in contact with you. Also, follow me on Periscope if you want to watch my riveting videos at Ryan Hoppe Radio. And let's help Hoppe Hour become the best local podcast in the Tampa Bay area. Woo!
Shut up!
tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour. That is tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour. You like this beat? It makes me want to go jog a marathon and then do some push-ups. It's me up every time. All right. I'm not a big fan of hackers. I know people want to applaud them. They were like, oh my God, thank you for releasing naked pictures of Kate Upton and Jennifer Lawrence. That was so great of you. I saw the pictures. I'll be honest, it wasn't like I shied away from them, but I felt dirty. I felt scummy. I felt like I was a creeper in the window, just watching them. You know, I felt like I was just watching them get dressed. So I wasn't a big fan of when that happened. I kind of felt bad. And I'm not a big fan of this Ashley Madison thing. Not because I feel bad for anybody that was cheating on their spouse or their loved one who should just get a divorce and not bring more pain to your wife, even if you hate your spouse so much. But this shows that anything can get hacked into. I'm nervous that anything I'll ever message to anyone, I never say anything that bad, but we all sometimes get mad about our day and we vent on Facebook. I'm waiting for Facebook to get hacked. If the website Ashley Madison, which is supposed to be discreet and anonymous, is getting hacked, anything can get hacked. Target got hacked a few years ago during the holidays. I mean, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they hacked into the White House. These losers, these leeches, these virgins have nothing else to do with their day. So why wouldn't they try and out-hack the next thing? There was that billboard in like May in Atlanta in like the Buckhead neighborhood, which is a really busy neighborhood, that they put porn on the electronic billboard. They can hack into anything. So what is stopping from being able to hack into a major site like Facebook? Come on. I know we all are laughing like, ha, these guys are getting busted. Ha, this scumbag site's getting in trouble. But this is a bad precedent in 2015 going on 2016 when anything can be hacked into. All right. I have this news clip from CNN. It's about Ashley Madison and specifically somebody from 16 Kids, and I've had way too much on TLC. And the oldest brother, the one that everybody looks up to, the eldest in the family, Mr. Morals, was on that website. Good old Josh Duggar.
Traditional family values. So when this came out, he issued his statement. Now we have his initial statement. Let me read it for you. He says, I've been the biggest hypocrite ever.
If he were to come out, even if he got busted by his wife, and it wasn't because of this, I would respect it a little bit. I would think he's a scumbag. I would think he's a leech, but I would at least be able to respect him saying I'm a hypocrite. But when the only reason you got busted, dude, and you've been on the website for years, is because it got hacked, you're not a hypocrite. You've just been found and you've been busted. You're like a rat in the alley that's about to get killed. You're nothing, dude. You're a loser. You're nothing but a talentless reality star that pretends to be a role model and pretends to be Christian. It's funny how the most religious and moral people end up being the sexual deviants. Do you ever notice that? All right, back to the clip.
While espousing faith and family values, I've secretly over the last several years been viewing pornography on the internet, and this became a secret addiction. I became unfaithful to my wife.
He's apologizing for doing what everyone does in life. He should be apologizing first for cheating on your wife. I would say 80% of the world has watched pornography, because I'm trying to be fair and think about the people that haven't watched it. That's the least of your problems, dude. Married people watch it before they're about to get groovy. Single people watch it to relieve stress. Porn is dirty. Porn can affect lives, but that's the least of your problems. That's not the first thing you should be saying when you've been busted on Ashley Madison. Most people at least watch porn once in their life. I would say 0.00001 go on Ashley Madison to cheat on their wife. Shut up.
He's since revised that to take out some of the pornography part, but he is admitting to wrongdoing in light of this massive, massive data breach, John.
So, his name came out earlier today. Everyone's like, is it really him? We don't know. We have to verify it. You did cross-checking. Now the cross...
Real quick, before I get back to the news clip, can you imagine if some dude was really mad at his wife? Like, they haven't had sex in like 9 months. He's got all this built-up anxiety. And then he goes, screw it. I'll just do it once. I'll join Ashley Madison. But then what ends up happening is, for some reason, his wife ends up getting really frisky. Or she feels bad that they don't have sex more often. So then all of a sudden, you never cheated on your wife. You never even went through it, but you forgot to delete the account. And now you're trying to say to your wife, I made one, but I was just mad at you at that time. I swear I'm not cheating on you. Or how about the person that cheated on their wife once or maybe even twice, and they feel horrible and they're going to secret counseling and it hurts them every day. And I don't feel bad for them. I'm just saying, imagine if you thought you were safe forever and then these hackers get you. All right. Back to the clip.
Checking is irrelevant. He came out and flat out admitted it.
Yeah, and he didn't admit to being on Ashley Madison. He came out and lied to this. But I will say there has now been another data dump, right? Right now, as we speak, we're sifting through twice the amount of data that has just been put out on the web. And this kind of data, they actually had a message, and I want to read you this message. The hackers said this to the CEO. They said, hey, Noel, you can admit it's real now. Because essentially, the company had said, this might not necessarily be a data dump. And in
Wow. Did they not get good PR? Wow. In that meeting, when it's announced that they were hacked, they could not come up with any good excuses when their excuse to the media was, and their statement was, we weren't hacked. I swear. Like, come on, the hackers are going to catch you. You might as well admit to it, dumbasses.
I've been talking to security researchers. What they've said is there's actually open source code proving that it is that. And what's very scary about that, John, is now that this open source code is out there, anyone can hack Ashley Madison's site.
Quickly, these are people who largely put in their own names that are going to be found out?
A lot of people do. A lot of people use fake names, but when you cross-reference it with home addresses, phone numbers, the end of your credit card information, there's millions and millions of people on the site, and people are now analyzing it via company, last name, and putting it on that open web for anyone to see it, John.
He was still a kid. This was not rape or anything like that.
All of our children receive professional counseling.
This information was released illegally.
There's an agenda.
Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar responding to what they call an attack against their family and going on the offensive.
Improperly touched.
Improper touch.
Of course there's going to be an attack on your family. You have this show that's pretty lame. Every show on TLC is utter trash, and we just watch it to laugh at these families. Of course there's going to be attacks on your family. You act Christian and you act normal, even though you have more than a dozen kids. You have about a dozen and a half kids, and you guys act like you're normal Christians, this and that. And then your oldest son is on Ashley Madison. I'm not saying the whole family deserves the stress, but don't play the sympathy card. Stop it. That's what you got when you went on TLC and you're one of the most watched shows ever. If something happens, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. I'm just saying.
Watching, they say, happened a long time ago. It's the improper release of the police records that they want to focus on. Sisters Jill and Jessa, two of the girls Josh molested, told Megyn Kelly they are now being re-victimized.
They don't have a right to do this. This isn't. We're victims. They can't do this to us.
And yet they did.
And they did. The system that was set up to protect kids, both those who make stupid mistakes or have problems like this in their life and the ones that are affected by those choices, it's greatly failed.
This famous family trying to change the narrative while their TLC series 19 Kids and Counting remains in limbo, likely to never return. Reputation.com Vice Chairman Howard Bragman says the Duggars played to their base.
After they defended their family, they turned and they started talking about how the fact that their daughters were more victimized by the media. They felt that a lot of people in the left wing had an agenda.
All right, whatever. Basically, they are mad that the media is ripping on them. They are mad that people are ripping on them because they act like they're all moral and great people. And then their son is banging out women behind the wife's back, not just by getting a girl at the church who he is sleeping with. He was kinky. He was into sex toys, and he was on Ashley Madison. Oh, boo-hoo. You're public figures. That's what happens when you're famous. If something bad happens, it comes back to bite you in the ass. Cry me a river.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.
The Sports Renegades with hosts Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. We'll give you the scoop on all your Chicago sports teams as well as all the national news going on. So for the best sports talk around, look no further than the Sports Renegades with hosts Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky every Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. Fantasy Fanatics has changed its name. We're now the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour with hosts Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky. Same time, Fridays, 2 to 4 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. The Ryan and Ryan Power Hour will be transitioning away from fantasy sports talk and talking more about Chicago sports and sports in general. Make sure you tune in as we will still be doing our signature Pick'em segments and bringing you updates and up-to-the-minute sports news. So listen in to us every Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com or on your mobile device using the TuneIn Radio app.
Hoppy ran so hard he starts to sweat. It's basically his cardio. Hoppy Hour is on.
You like this music? Try to keep my podcast classy and entertaining. I go from playing Fireman to this. Woo! Makes you want to go to a nice upscale coffee shop. They'd be playing this in the background. You're checking out that classy girl, you know? I remember when I first moved to Cleveland, this song was on, and I was like, I am listening to this forever. And this was my pre-workout song whenever I would swim in the pool. And I still listen to it. I love this song, like this part. All right. This next thing I'm going to rant about, I can't even believe people are mad about. To me, this is pure jealousy. A sorority in Alabama, at the University of Alabama, made a recruitment video. And it shows girls dancing and girls happy. And there was not one part of this video that I watched and I was like, this is terrible. This is awful. I watched it in pure bliss. And I was like, This is heaven on earth. I love this. I want to be there right now. Let's go on a road trip. Come on, pimps. All right, here's the news clip.
All right, 7:47 now, and a University of Alabama sorority is in the spotlight over a controversial recruitment video. Let's take a look at this, Tamron.
Good morning again, guys. So that video Matt was referring to raked up 500,000 views in just a few days. But one writer took issue with its portrayal of college life, sparking.
It's always one writer. It wasn't people protesting outside the university. It was one scumbag writer. It was one leech who has nothing else to do, who runs some self-righteous blog where they want to get people in trouble because they were never popular. They weren't, I don't want to say good looking enough, but they never had the attitude to join a sorority, and they're not fun to be around. They're no fun police. Heaven forbid. Good looking girls who are young and experiencing life want to make a video where they're having fun. Shut up. Jesus Christ. This fake outrage in 2015. Every single week we are upset about something. Shut up. If you don't like it, don't watch the video. No one's putting a gun in your head saying you have to watch this video. Stop it.
A big conversation online.
This morning, you can't find this Alpha Phi recruiting video on the chapter's website, perhaps because of the growing outcry about its lack of diversity and the way it portrays women.
It's not like they're being forced to do it. If this was a frat that secretly filmed them or they kind of went along with it, then it would make sense. They wanted to make this. That's how they want to portray their sorority. If they want to do it that way, let them. Shut up. Stop it. Why are we offended all the time? I have to lean back in my chair. I get so mad. Why does this matter? Why? Explain to me why. Who cares? Mind your own damn business. The people complaining weren't even smart enough to get into a community college, so they had no chance to go to Alabama. Shut up.
The controversy was touched off by this opinion piece headline, Bama sorority video worse for women than Donald Trump, on the website al.com. The author says the video, with its 72 sorority sisters, is objectifying, standing out in the beauty and bounce categories, and the women poster children for detrimental stereotypes and cliches.
They want to make the video. No one's forcing them to do this. If this was maybe secret footage of them grinding in a dance, then fine. This is how they want to recruit their sorority, what they are paying for. They weren't being forced to do this. This is college. I'm sorry. I know you want to think about kids in the library studying and books, this and that, but kids have fun on the weekend and people party harder than ever. Sorry. Sorry you want to think about your daughter and your son just studying on the weekend. No, they party because that's what you do in college. Shut up. Stop. Had enough. We're offended. Nobody cares. Because you have no life, you have nothing to go home to. Yeah, you might have a family, but you're miserable. So you want to make someone else suffer because you want to live a life. And you want to get someone in trouble who's living a better life than you. These bloggers who hide behind a keyboard, who have nothing better to do, and would not say this to the news's face or to the sorority's face because they don't have guts. They don't have social skills, so they hide behind a keyboard and type away. Shut up.
It's caused debate online, too. One calling it pathetic and shameful. College is about education, not football.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Especially when you go to Alabama. I'm sorry. It's not like this is Harvard. Maybe I get it done. This is the University of Alabama. Some of the best looking women in a party school. This is what college is about. Stop. Stop. Swear to God. Swear to God, it's getting me so mad.
And parties, another writing, I think they're silly, but they're not hurting anyone. Alpha Phi is the fourth oldest sorority in the country.
Yes, they're respectable. They're pretty legendary. And there wasn't a part of the video where I was offended. I want to be there. It was heaven on earth. Every single girl is gorgeous.
Its alumni include the first woman treasurer of the United States, state legislature.
Let's just ban anybody that was ever in that sorority. They're evil. They're setting a bad precedent. Shut up.
Legislators and civic leaders, and one of only 8 women bishops in the U.S. Episcopal Church. NBC News reached out to the sorority's local chapter and national headquarters for comment. but got no response.
Good. They have no reason they should have to respond to these easily offended scumbags who aren't even offended. They just want to complain about something because there's nothing to complain about. Good. Usually when something happens and someone has to say something to the media, I'm like, okay, you're hiding. You should say something because you had the guts to do something. But with this, they have no reason to say anything to the media. Shut up. God, it gets me mad.
The controversy doesn't seem to have hurt recruitment week at the and
why would it hurt recruitment week? It wasn't like it was Jerry Sandusky and a pedophile or something major. It's gorgeous, beautiful, hot girls partying. Jesus Christ. This is idiocracy if we're offended over this. Our country is broke. We have Donald Trump and these nuts leading the polls, but we want to get mad at sorority girls? We're offended.
The women poster children for detrimental stereotypes and cliches.
Maybe if it was a video they were forced to do with a frat, but this is how they want to portray themselves. God, we're supposed to be in the land of the free, but no, we're offended. Shut up.
It's caused debate online, too, one calling it pathetic and shameful. College is about education, not football, and parties. Another writing, I think they're silly, but they're not hurting anyone.
I'm done. I'm done. This has been Hoppe Hour. Let's play that music that sets the mood. I just don't get why you have to ruin fun for everybody. If they want to spend their life doing that, let them. Okay. Vote Hoppe Hour is the best podcast. tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour. That's tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour. Tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Download my app for the iOS shop. Search up Hoppe Radio, and with your Android device, download the TuneIn app and search up Hoppe Radio. I have to get up on out of here. This has been Hoppe Hour. Thanks for listening. Spread the word.
Hoppe Hour.
Why didn't anybody tell me stem cell research was so delicious?
And it works with South Beach. Hesh, you've got to try some of this.
Camp, not kosher.
You're Jewish?
Yeah, the Torah says I can't eat shellfish, camels, pigs, or rock badgers.
What's a rock badger?
Don't matter, because I can't eat it. Or snakes, rats, or bugs.
Oh, that's just good common sense.
Yeah, that Torah.